1st, but I think it's December 6th is the first meeting in December. December 1 is? When is our holiday party? It is that day. So I don't want to bring it back. I mean, the city has to continue to move. This can't grind us to a halt to where we can't do anything. So I feel like whether you guys read it or you don't read it, whether you like it or you don't like it, we'll still be here on the 17th with the same situation of we're dealing with how are we going to release it and do we want to release it? So if we just say now, let's release it once they've read it. Like they have I know it's not a full time frame like that, but I mean, there's a lot of time there to come in, and then what we release, I'm all for no redactions, but that's not what I hear here. So if redactions is the key, fine. Let's do a redacted and just get it out there and get it over with. That's the only way we're going to be able to move on, is to actually take this vote, try and knock both. That's what I feel Councilmember Viveros Walton is trying to do here, is just shrink the time frame of this. The more it sits here, the more we discuss it, the longer we talk about it, the more agonizing it is. It's already been however long, and the only one who's really, in my opinion, the only one's feeling the agony. Now, I'm not trying to discount you two, but the vice mayor, because it was her complaint and nothing went. And I know you guys want to see it, because I would too if someone said I did something. I'd want to see it. But I'm just trying to urge us to move this along and get it done and get it off our plate, because the moment we get it off our plate, we're not going to talk about it anymore. And hopefully we correct ourselves.
Coming to Councilor Viveros Walton.
Quickly, just to answer the Vice Mayor's question, 2 of them are referrals to the March strategies, strategic planning, council planning session, whatever we call it in March. It's an economic development item and a community vacant lot activation. And the other one is more time sensitive, and it's regarding Lake Chabot Road. But I am okay with continuing those to the December 1st meeting, or November 17th meeting. Oh my gosh, okay. It's okay. But just to close off my comment, I'm not going to take all the time, is I understand your concern, Mayor, but the person who was harmed has said, I'm not interested in censure. I want to get through it. I want to work through it together. I think this is our opportunity to build trust with each other and with the public. And just to clarify, the 10-day notice only applies to censure, not to anything, not to things that don't include censure. Everything is the regular kind of timeline. I really would like to just move forward. The community, the vice mayor, the folks that were investigated, the people who were interviewed, I think it's time to move on. Work through it, get some resolution, some restorative conflict conversations amongst us, and just move forward. I respectfully, Mayor, ask for your yes vote.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question here, because I do think now that we have heard that censure is not on the table, and with this concept of restorative conversations occurring, if there would be interest in having a meeting of 3 of us, myself, Vice Mayor, and Councilmember Aguilar, a separate meeting between myself, Vice Mayor, and Councilmember Simon, to see if we can resolve this through dialogue, discussion, mutual agreement, So I'll just leave it at that. Vice Mayor, please.
Can you clarify what you just proposed? I do not
So,
understand.
Yeah, the basic idea. One of the options in this disciplinary process is to have some sort of discussion, right, where there is a discussion with the council member. Another one is a formal written reprimand. But with this concept of restorative justice, the concept of bringing together the two parties in a, I'll just call it a facilitated discussion with the aim of resolving differences and building trust, would that be a possible next step?
I think it's going to be a necessary next step towards restorative efforts. I do not think that it is the only next step. So yes, we can do that. I would I would have to think about if other people would also have to be in the room, like human resources or somebody else. I'm unsure about what those conversations would be like. So yes, I can have those conversations, but I also think that, again, I have not seen the report. I am willing to waive that privilege for the sake of transparency and for us to move forward. I need this to be addressed, and there are many council considerations that we can do, and we should be able to do that on the 17th once we've actually all seen the report.
We're discussing some scheduling things up here, so give us just a moment, please. Okay. Councilmember Simon, please.
I have a question for the
Please.
city attorney, and I really need to understand this. In November 2024, during the censure, I was not able to vote on myself, nor was Councilmember Aguilar able to vote on themselves. How can we vote ourselves now, but we weren't able to vote on ourselves then?
The policy provides that if it's a censure, then the subject of censure doesn't have a right to vote. But that's not what's being discussed at this moment in time. And just to clarify, Mayor, I want to be clear, we'd have to find a way for, if you were to be involved in those conversations, it would create a Brown Act issue. We'd have to figure out how to make it compliant with the Brown Act. If you, Vice Mayor, Councilmember Aguilar, and/or Councilmember Simon had a conversation around the same issues.
Just to clarify, any such conversation about Councilmember Aguilar would only be with Councilmember Aguilar. Councilmember Simon would not be present. Or any such conversation with Councilmember Simon.
I understand, but we want to avoid a Syriana meeting where now it's 4 council members have discussed an item of business.
Okay, at this point in time, Councilmember Aguilar.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, City Attorney Rich Pirota. I think it's been long overdue with regards to the request that Mayor Gonzalez has made. It pains me to not be able to have a conversation with my colleague because of the process that has been implemented in place in fear of me being accused of other allegations. So I would like to move forward with the discussion to, like Council Member or like Vice Mayor Bowen had mentioned, we were friends and things happened, and so I'd like to come to a place where we can work together, where there's not this complete void on that side, where I won't, I won't be accused of communicating in a way that is hurtful or seemed as, I'm looking at the intent and the impact that my colleague is talking about to make sure that we can all move forward together. I think, with this process going on, it has delayed certain things or caused hurdles and moving forward. So, I think that's something that is long overdue, and I'm open to that within the realm of the Brown Act to make sure that we have a discussion to move forward, because I'm ready to move forward in this aspect, to be a cohesive council, to work together and not have this stress on my end or tension to feel like, I can't say anything or do anything. And if, I make an outreach, be accused of some sort of thing. So I would work with you and HR and whoever else to have a discussion. And like Vice Mayor Bowen had mentioned, this is something that she does on her time to coach folks. And I think that's something that, we can both learn from each other and moving forward. So that's something that, I'd be amenable to, in addition to moving forward and making a decision whether or not, I'd like to not waive my attorney-client privilege like I have reiterated earlier, and to move this to the December 1st meeting until we get to see the unredacted version of the report within a 2-week timeline. So that 2-week timeline has passed. And so I'd like to move forward with that aspect.
Thank you. So I'd like to ask a clarifying question of City Attorney. For actions that do not involve censure, do we need to waive the attorney-client privilege?
So the report is an attorney-client privilege report, and that requires a vote.
I really want to focus on, if we take an action that does not involve censure, right? So let's go to the 17th, the 1st, the 8th, next year. I don't care. We're going to get to a disciplinary process. If we're taking an action that does not involve censure, must we waive the attorney-client privilege before that action is taken?
So the basis for the disciplinary action is just the face of the complaint.
So the answer is no, we would not have to waive attorney-client privilege.
That's correct, and
Okay.
you're taking the complaint on its face value.
Okay. Vice Mayor, I know you've been patiently waiting, coming to you.
Thank you. So I realize that this conversation that we're having right now with deliberating about a consultation with mayor is Section A of the council consideration of discipline short of censure. So if we're going to talk about some of the options, is the idea that we are going to be talking about all of those options right now? Because I don't want to pull out one, just to pull out one. Again, have not read the report. I don't know what findings have been substantiated and what have not. I think it is really important that we are transparent with it and that we release it. If there is, I can't keep track of where the motion right now is, or wanting to call the question a long time ago, but I would like that if there has been any substantiated findings by the independent report, that we take appropriate action to have a letter of reprimand from the city council about those actions, so that we acknowledge that the behavior is wrong and that we will not tolerate it. I would also want a statement of disapproval and an admonition, because that is the process and it has escalated to that level of seriousness. And those are all Thank you, Councilmember Aguilar, for reaching out and wanting to restore the relationship and move forward. We do have another year at least of being on the council together to move things forward in a real way. Those items are all short of censure. Those things really just commit to saying something has been done, if it has been done, if it has been substantiated, and then we can acknowledge it and move on, and we can continue to do the work. So I don't know if anything has been changed, or if we would then need a substitute motion, or if that is something that, if there has been substantiated findings, if we have spent taxpayer dollars to investigate this, and honestly, I apologize to the community that it took this much time and it cost this much money. I was simply trying to protect myself and to improve how this council functions. And I don't know why and how it escalated to this point, because I know that other complaints have also been investigated in the past, and I'm unsure that they have escalated to the level that this one has.
Okay, so at this point in time, we have a motion to release a redacted report to the public, i.e., we have a motion to waive attorney-client privilege to release a redacted report to the public. There would be an unredacted release of the report to current counsel for Councilmember Simon and Councilmember Aguilar. There would also be a request for discipline hearing on November 17th. That's the motion that's on the floor. That was made by Viveros Walton and seconded by Councilmember Bolt. Please elaborate. Thank you.
That current council,
Yes.
their current council would also be able to
An
view the
un-
report with them
an
in person
unre-
here at City Hall.
An
Yeah.
unredacted version of the report in person. I will make the ask one last time. Are you willing to not have the attorney-client privilege waived at this time? Because in order to have this type of hearing, short of censure, there's not a requirement that they have access to the report, because it's not going to be a censure hearing. The standard is different. That's not to say that we would never waive the privilege, but not waiving the privilege at this time.
My concern with that is that the public wouldn't be able to see it in time for the 17th. So, and we won't be able to vote to release attorney-client privilege until the 17th, which means that the public will not be able to see the document before the meeting on the 17th. So that's my reservation, is that the public won't be able to see that. And so respectfully, Mayor, I don't accept the friendly amendment, and I ask that you reconsider your position and vote to release attorney-client privilege. I appreciate your reflection.
Okay, so at this point in time, I'll be very clear. I cannot ask someone to waive what they haven't seen. I have insight, I have personal knowledge of what's there, but out of respect for my council members and fairness, I can't. And I think that 2 weeks, the 10 days that we will grant them, I just can't. It's a matter of principle. This has been it's taken time. Waiting an extra week, an extra 2 weeks is not going to kill anybody. Many of the people that came here today didn't even think there was a report. They were here clamoring to get a report. And now we're stressed about whether that report is going to have attorney-client privilege waived today. They didn't even know there was a report. So I'm really, really struggling as a matter of fairness. So I will be voting no on the motion as it is. I have to. That's a matter of principle. Okay, Councilmember Aguilar.
Thank you, Mayor Gonzalez, and I too will be voting no as a matter of principle with regards to due process and waiving attorney-client privilege, being that, if you want to be fair and you talk about impact and intent, think about the impact and intent of giving me the right, my colleagues the right, to review the report before we release attorney-client privilege. So I will be voting no on this motion. Thank you.
Vice Mayor, please.
I would like to make an amendment to ask for the release of an executive summary of the findings for the public as part of what we release now. We should, I keep hearing people talking in the audience, and honestly, that's very disrespectful right now. I'm really trying to get my thoughts together, so I would appreciate if you could lower your voices. The community did ask for the release of the report. They know that there is a report. I know that there is a report, and I would like it released to the public. What I want is for there to be accountability. I want to know the results of the investigation, and I'm very happy that it is finally being released. But I can't help but wonder about the timing of it being released just days before having to push this through in this process. I would like for us, I would like to amend your motion if you would allow to include the release of the, like an executive summary of the findings as part of the information that we are giving to the public. I also, what I want out of this process, if I may add, is that when we talk about accountability and there are actions and there are consequences, and we are looking at the council consideration of discipline for that, of actions, and so that's what I hope to be able to do at that next meeting. But what I want us to do at that November 17th meeting is to actually follow through with that, and if there are findings that are substantiated, to take action on that.
I think you're going to ask the same question.
Councilmember
I have.
Veras Walton.
I think you're going to ask the same question that I do. Is the executive summary part of attorney-client privilege? Does it need?
Please, City Attorney.
Well, the executive summary is just the findings.
So it actually, we still have to vote to release attorney-client privilege on the executive summary.
In order to release it, I believe that we would need to.
We would still need to do that.
Let me confirm.
That is correct. She's labeled it, and it is an executive summary that is attorney-client privileged. But it is executive summary, which is, she is prepared. It's just the findings.
Let me look at. I'm trying to think of a compromise here. I would like to bring back, then I would like to amend this to come back on the 17th to waive attorney-client privilege on, that goes to the public.
I'm sorry to interrupt your thought, because I want to be clear. Go ahead.
So the only thing that would go to the 17th would be to waive attorney-client privilege, to release the redacted report, and schedule and continue this, and have the council consideration of discipline short of censure scheduled for December 8th.
8th, correct?
December 8th. Is that amenable to the seconder of the motion as a compromise? So to be clear, on the 17th, we would all vote. After you all have read the report, you have 12 days to read the report. On the 17th, I would like to ensure that it is agendized, that we release attorney-client privilege to have a redacted version and bring back the disciplinary hearing on the December 8th meeting.
Okay, that's clear. And to be, I just want to make positive, you've got the full report. I know there was just discussion about executive summary. You're talking about
Just the full
the
report.
full report. Thank you for the clarification. Okay, any discussion on this? Councilmember Aguilar.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to be clear, I think my ask was to come back on the 17th to waive attorney-client privilege and then meet on the 1st, or actually, no, come back on the 1st to waive attorney-client privilege, and if need be, do the meeting on the 8th, because we would have time to agendize that special meeting.
That was what you had suggested.
The first,
Councilmember
and the
Yveris
8th.
Walton is offering a different schedule, a modification from her initial position, but not quite reaching what you've requested. So it's a compromise.
I would like to substitute that with the amendment with the 1st instead of the 17th.
So she has a substitute motion. So a substitute motion takes priority. What she has offered to do is take that substitute motion and amend it. So her motion still has priority as the substitute motion. It's still being discussed. So she's got, I'll call it a compromise, I think she used that word, to change the dates accordingly. Give 2 weeks to review or 13 days to review so that you can have a position on, are you willing to waive privilege? Or is there something in there that you believe it would be bad for the council, it would be bad for the city in some way to waive that privilege? And then some more time for additional preparation for discussion of a non-censure hearing, or it could include a non-censure hearing on the 8th of December. So that's more than a month from today.
So my concern is it's not giving us enough time to review. So I would like the 1st and the 8th. I would be totally fine with that. I think the 17th is not enough time to review and make an appointment to come in, with our current schedules, or with my current schedule.
Okay, thank you. I did get the second from Councilmember Bolt. So we have a motion and a second, an updated motion, just to clarify for the record that the decision to waive privilege has been pushed to November 17th. At that point in time, this council will discuss and may do whatever it wants to do on that day. A hearing date has been set for December 8th for exploring disciplinary action. At this time, there is no waiver of attorney-client privilege. Therefore, at this point in time in this motion, there is no ability for attorneys, external attorneys, to come and look at the document. Okay, so with that, I have one or two more hands here. So we're going to go to Councilmember Simon.
I would like to share share Councilmember Aguilar's concern about needing adequate time with schedules and other commitments to expend enough time to properly review this, in addition to having an attorney who are very busy as it is to get their time together too. So I support Councilmember Aguilar's request to give us time. We're trying to be fair. That's what I'm hearing tonight. So I think that's a reasonable request. And adding the attorney to the motion with the dates Councilman Aguilar has requested.
I guess my question, whoa, that was really loud. I believe that what I just offered as an amendment to my substitute is a compromise, and it gives you 12 days to read the report. But my question, Mayor, and maybe you can direct it to whoever you think is best, but are we able to partially release attorney-client privilege so that their counsel can see it before the 17th or by the 17th?
If that is your amended motion,
Oh, okay, then.
you could do that if you so chose.
Yes, so then update the motion to include that their attorneys are able to see it by the 17th with them. But I do believe it's a fair compromise. I was hoping for, I'm sorry, the hearing on the 8th and give you 12 days to view the report. I think that's a reasonable compromise. And I hope that you consider it thoughtfully and vote yes.
So I've got a second by thumbs up from Councilmember Bolt. Okay. Let's keep discussing this.
No, I mean, we keep talking about counsel, and I do not have legal counsel, and so I want to preemptively ask if I need to get counsel or choose to get counsel, that my counsel could also see this HR report. I am wondering how much legal exposure in general there is to myself, to other council members, to the city, and I would like to explore that if this is seemingly to be something that I just get the feeling that maybe I should also at least put that out there right now, so that all of our lawyers could see it.
So I am going to confirm with Councilmember Riveros Walton, the maker of the updated substitute motion, that her inclusion of attorneys' access to the unredacted version of the report, counsel access, be provided to Councilmember Simon, Councilmember Aguilar, and and Vice Mayor Bowen. Okay, Councilmember Bolt, looking at you. So I've got an updated substitute motion as stated. Is there any doubt about what the motion is? City Manager. Wait, that's getting a little late. We're getting a little giddy. Okay, so at this point in time, Councilmember Simon. And I think you will be our last speaker. I am going to ask for a vote.
Just in the spirit of fairness that I'm hearing tonight, and I've brought this comment up before, but I will reiterate it and ask the question. As far as seeing the same, I would like to see the same information that all of my colleagues have seen. And I understand that there were two versions out there. I mean, don't quote me exactly. I don't know if I got exactly right, but there was more out there than what we will be able to see. I think it's totally fair that we see what everyone has saw if we are supposed to vote on the same thing. So my question to City Attorney is, what happened to those other versions? Where do they go?
So at this point in time, we are not going to answer that question because that's not related to the motion on the floor. And I'm going to call the question. No, I'm not going to call the question. I'm going to say it. Let's vote. No. I'm not going to address that. That's off the motion that's being discussed. So let's vote.
All votes are in. The motion passes 4 yeses, 2 noes. Councilmember Simon and Councilmember Aguilar voting no, and 1 councilmember absent, Councilmember Azevedo.
Okay, at this point in time, it's 11:39 and we